Hey everybody, Art Burns here. Hope you're all doing well. I hope you're hanging in with these very, very strange and sometimes difficult times in which we're living. And I want to talk to you today. I want to go a little bit further on this idea of curiosity. As I said, curiosity is the opposite, is the antithesis of fear. Right? In order to have curiosity, the fear must be absent. Right? That's just kind of the way curiosity works. Right? And something that comes along with curiosity that is also very, very important. In fact, it's vital to our health and to our not only our emotional health and our emotional development, but it's also really, really important for our physical health, in terms of major illnesses that can occur later in life, right? And what I'm talking about is vulnerability, right? When we allow ourselves to be curious about our own emotions, right? We allow ourselves to be honest about these emotions, right? And when we allow ourselves to be honest and curious about them, again, there's an absence of fear, right? And the absence of fear is, of course, vulnerability too. It's allowing ourselves to be, open, allowing ourselves to kind of not be, concerned with what somebody might think of our reaction to something, not concerned about the ability to express our grief or our shame, or to cry. As a man, that's something that I've dealt with my whole life. Like it's hard to cry as men in this society. And that's not healthy for us, right? And so there's vulnerability, but it's also not just in crying. It's also the ability to express our anger properly. And there's lots and lots of evidence. The wonderful book by Dr. Gabor Mate called "When the Body Says No." The subtitle, I believe, is the connection between stress and disease. Something to that effect. And he goes through many cases in this book. He used to be a palliative physician, right? Meaning that he took care of people at the end of their lives in terminal illness, and he wrote this book, based on that experience, and just went through case after case after case after case and showed that, the one common denominator that all these folks had as they were dealing with, very, very serious diseases, autoimmune diseases, cancers, things that were ending their lives early, or severely hampering them, in ways like not allowing them to live a normal and happy life. The common denominator overwhelmingly was that these people at some point earlier in their lives were not able to express their emotions properly, particularly anger and other strong emotions of shame and fear and grief and all this, right? And so this requires a level of vulnerability, and in fact, it's the lack of vulnerability that often leads to this sort of emotional stunting in a lot of people. Right? The reason why we're not able to express ourselves properly is because we didn't have vulnerability when we were young. But the fact is that it's never too late. Like our bodies are very plastic. That's something else that so much research has shown us, right? That our minds, our physical brains, our emotional lives, and even our bodies, they're very, very plastic. They can be changed very, very easily. And so I know that I'm talking about very, very big topics here, right? Like when we're talking about, these huge diseases, they're big and scary, right? But the fact is that the solutions that I'm talking about, or the sort of ways in which these things come about, they start out very, very small, right? And the idea is that with very, very small practices, a few minutes a day, you can start to train yourself, right? To be curious and to have vulnerability, to be absent the fear that prevents vulnerability and curiosity, right? And in the absence of this fear is the absence of the stress, right? Which, or in the presence of this fear is the presence of stress, which creates a level of hyperarousal, right? And on a chronic level, the end result of this are things like these diseases that I'm talking about, right? There's no way for your body to handle that hyperarousal for a chronic, extended period of time, right? And therein lies the problem, right? And the way that we can address that, again, even though these are huge subjects, the way we can address it is very, very small and very, very basic. It comes down to just doing a little practice every day to just, allow us to train ourselves to be just present and not, not thinking about the what ifs and what is this person going to say? What is this going to happen if I do this and all that? Be present with what we're doing. If we train ourselves to do that, we put ourselves on the track to really developing an understanding of these emotions, understanding of the importance of our vulnerability and the ability to practice that vulnerability, right? And now, of course, all people are different, right? You're going to react different to this work than I did, and somebody else is going to react differently from us, right? But the fact is that it can be as basic as just starting some of these practices, and with the intention of developing this emotional intelligence, and in this development of emotional intelligence, to really thrive through this process. And so if you'd like any information on how to get started on some of these very, very simple practices, hit me up with a comment, okay? Send me a direct message. Let me just give you a couple of pointers to just get it started, see how it feels. Try it on like a jacket, and see how good it feels. I'd be happy to help you with that. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Art Burns signing off, wishing you well, hoping you're staying safe, hoping you're staying sane, hoping you're washing your hands, and we're going to get through this. All right. Thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.